Yo, what is going on, guys? Jaquan here, and we're back again with another locals match right before the Reign of Jafar as well. Just a couple days out, and super excited for that. But before we get into any Jafar content, got one more locals game for Arcasia's Island, and that's going to be myself using Ruby Sapphire versus my friend here who's playing Sapphire Steel. So Sapphire Steel, this is going to be the traditional version with whole new worlds and a bunch of items, so it will not be the Kiwi more lower to the ground version. So it's super excited to have a look to see how Sapphire Steel has been doing right after the ban list of Hiram and the Fortisphere. So in this game here, we are going to be playing 2 games, and he will be going first this time around, and that means next game I'll be choosing to go first. So he starts it off with inking looks like he inks a fishbone quill and passes turn. So he did not have any 1-drop popsicles. However, I do. So I do play a popsicle here. And this is the same build that we used in the last locals video against the Chernadogs. And that was a super fun, match. We got destroyed relatively quickly, but feel free to check out that video anyways if you haven't seen Chernadogs in action. Gives you some good idea of how Chernadogs actually function and how aggro they can actually be. So turn 2, I'm going to throw down Azurite Sea, inking a card, and then playing the Develop the Brain on curve, so that way we can look at the top 2 cards and pick one and add it to the hand and put the rest in the bottom. So he plays a Fishbone Quill, he uses a Fishbone Quill. So in the Sapphire Steel deck, they still use the same strategy as before, for this particular build anyways. So usually Fishbone on turn 3, and in that way they can get out like a Beast Tragic Hero or another 5-drop on turn 4, and in the following turn they're then able to sing Whole New World, and by then they probably inked all cards in their hand using Fishbone Quill. So it's still a very, very effective strategy here, and you guys will see this in a second. So ink a Pirate's Life, since we don't need that right now, and I do play Super Goof, being able to rush in and gain us 2 lore, taking out that Smee. So a very well-timed Super Goof here. The other 4 drops that I play in the deck are the Gramatala and of course the Robin Hood Sharpshooter. So we do play 2 Goofies. Okay, so he inks a Vision, I believe, and plays the Beast Tragic Hero. So we do need to try to get rid of this Beast Tragic Hero or ink as much cards as possible to be prepared for that Whole New World. Because a lot of times with the Sapphire Steel decks, once the Whole New World and they have Fishbone Quill, a lot of times they can gain so much ink and start dropping 2 things or more in 1 turn. Because a lot of times when it comes to these slower decks, earlier in a mid game, you're only going to be dropping 1 thing at a time. Okay, so I ink the Tamatoa. Hard casting Let It Go, inking the Beast into the opponent's inkwell, and this will force the opponent to either play another card or hard cast the Whole New World. Unfortunately, it does give him another ink, so he might be able to pop off a little quicker than usual. So he does hard cast the Whole New World, and I do believe we have a Maui and a Maui Half Shark and a Manor and another card being discarded there. However, we do have a fresh new hand, which we don't mind at all. And I believe right now we're heading over to our 6th ink next turn, so we could play some really good stuff like Maui Half Sharks and whatnot. Okay, so he plays a Bell. So Bell is a first chapter card. It allows you to ink an additional time on top of any other additional ink like Azurite Sea. And its ability is that when you have 10 or more ink, it can quest for 5. So it is a dime target, right? So we do have to be wary of that, because that and a dime can close out the game very, very fast if you're not ready. Luckily for us, we are playing red, so we do have a bunch of outs to Bell, like Brawls and Let It Goes and Hades and stuff. Okay, so we ink another super goof. We don't need it right now because again, Bell does have a lot of willpower. And yeah, so we do play the Hades, inking that Bell, just ensuring that, you know, he's not able to pop off with a dime because he has enough to just dime tap, right? Meaning that if we let that Bell live for another turn, he could have gone from 2 to 12 lore. And that would put us on a very, very fast clock because in this particular matchup, there's no way to get rid of that dime. So that dime's going to stick around, you know, getting lore turn after turn for every character that they have. They can just choose, right? Like even a Tamatoa 6-drop or 8-drop would be very devastating. Or this card here, like Aerial, Treasure Collector. So if the opponent controls more items than we do, that Aerial is also going to be able to quest for 5. And he does play a very well-timed Pete as well. And the reason why he would want to play it in this scenario, even if we have a lot of, you know, characters on board as well, is that he doesn't want us to play cards like B Prep or even B King Undisputed to get over that war that Aerial has. Because right now, Hades can't touch Aerial, Sisu can't touch Aerial. That Aerial, again, is going to be able to stick if it's not exerted. So unfortunately, that Pete's going to lock us out from any actions this turn. Yeah, I'm super excited for the Reign of Jafar set to come out because there's a whole ton of Ruby Sapphire action cards that Robin Hood can utilize. And I think the deck's going to get better. You know, Robin Hood, again, is going to stick around post-banless because it is released from Shimmering Skies. So we do get a whole entire year with Robin Hood. So I know that Robin Hood is slowly going up, especially its enchanted version. So definitely watch out for that if you guys are interested in playing any sort of like Action Hood deck, right? Okay, so do we play the Manor here? And why I want to play the Manor instead of maybe another character is because I want to give the option to the opponent thinking that that Manor is a threat and using their characters to challenge in, right? Like sometimes you can throw opponents off guard and make them, you know, not make the most optimal play, right? Like if that Aerial challenged into the Manor, that's not going to be the best, right, for him because he's not going to be able to quest for 5. Obviously, we're still pretty far away from being able to win to 20 lore, so that Manor is not like the biggest threat probably in his eyes, but you know, eventually that Manor, the longer that we survive and that Manor sticks around, the closer it'll get for us to win the game, right? So as you can see here, he did have that dime ready, and he did quest with Aerial and then dime tap that Aerial, bringing him from 2 to 12 in one whole turn. So next turn, we are cooked if we do not get rid of that Aerial. But then again, he could also drop like another big quester and then dime tap that too, right? So we gotta get rid of that Aerial right now. Maui would be pretty good here too. Okay, so we do play Visions, allowing us to look at the top 5 cards of our deck and choosing one to put in our hand and the rest in the bottom. So I definitely want an out to the Aerial and then take out the Pete and then start questing a little harder as well. So I wouldn't mind trading like that Grammatala into the Pete and then hopefully getting an Aerial to take out, or hopefully getting the Maui to take out the Aerial. Because questing 2 with Hades is pretty big. Combine that with the Manor next turn, we would be at 12. Still giving us a little bit time to cross the finish line. So another card as well that I do play is the Scar Vicious Cheater. So that could be another card I was trying to find at the time, because the Scar Vicious Cheater would hands down take out the Pete and the Aerial simultaneously as well, because it readies itself every time it challenges. You take out the Pete with the Hades and then trade the Tala and the Hades into the Aerial. So unfortunately we don't get a quest this turn. Luckily for us, we do have the Manor to get us to 10 lore next turn. Okay, and he does Whole New World. So he does have a full amount of ink there ready to use. So, you know, hard casting this Whole New World isn't really all too bad, and especially at this point in time, like he's probably gonna try to find a lot of things to drop out and dime. And even Pete is going to be very bad for us too, especially if he gets out another arrow, we won't be able to take it out, right? Okay, so he plays a bell, taps the dime to gain 5 lore from the bell, and he locks us out with a Pete. So this means that even if we do take out the bell, oh, there we go. And we also have the Smee and wow, okay, another bell. So yeah, I don't think there's anything that we can do here just because, again, we are locked out of actions. It's either we win this turn or we scoop. Because again, no actions. Big Sisu doesn't really hit anything here except Bell, but then he already has lethal on board anyways with the Smee, Bell, and the Pete. So I think we just gotta scoop it up here. Yep. So you do scoop it up here. Unfortunately, that whole new world did get the Sapphire Steel player, the Pete, and that was a very, very nicely timed Pete at that. You know, Pete's a very, very strong card, and I think it actually is going to survive the rotation as well, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely a good investment if you guys want to pick up, you know, foil Pete's there, because Pete's going to be a staple in any steel deck. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, you know, what type of brews that you guys are thinking of making for a couple decks on the new set. If you guys are going to be attending any Reign of Jafar pre-release, this is the first time that Ravensburger is doing any, you know, quote-unquote sanctioned pre-releases. Usually it's like CO or draft, right, when a new set comes out, but pre-release allows players, I believe, to get promo cards exclusive to those types of events, so that'll definitely be fun. And you know, personally for me, I'm planning on getting maybe like 1 or 2 boxes in a trove, and you guys will probably see that on the channel in the next coming days here, so definitely stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, I do believe that we do have a little bit of a strike here, Canada Post strike in Canada, so hopefully, you know, our local LGSs did get some stock on time, so really hoping for that for sure. Alright, so definitely here in this game, I'd say for this matchup, going first, I would say finding our usual ramp is definitely a must. Putting that pressure with having a location early on is going to be something that I'm going to prioritize as well, just because the Sapphire Steel, aside from having Zeus, if they don't have any other characters on board, like they don't have any rush characters or anything else to, you know, deal damage to our locations early on, it's going to gain us a lot of traction. So that's something that I'll probably keep. Definitely, you know, any Azurite Seas, Tipos, How Far I'll Go, you know, Gramatalas, just the usual stuff as well, right? Because a lot of our really good cards are going to be played later in the game, and hopefully by then we're able to control it. Because I know, like, in the past, you know, Ruby Sapphire and versus Sapphire Steel, usually we are supposed to be favored, but keep in mind, like, due to the ban of Hiram, we don't have as much draw power anymore, and Hiram was, you know, one of the ways we were able to get draw outside of Popsicle and Tamatoa, because, you know, if let's just say we get Pete, and we're not going to be able to play any actions right that turn. So, and with the Ruby Sapphire deck, it's very crucial that we are playing our actions, like the Visions of the Future, right, and Develop Your Brain. Just try to find the key pieces that we need to be able to solve some board states. All right, so I'm starting it off here by inking Azurite Sea and playing a Popsicle, so definitely love to see that play line there. We are playing 8 1-drops, so usually we have 4 Popsicles and then 4 Develop Your Brains. I like having 8 1-drops because, again, it just curves so well with Azurite Sea. So he inks an Aerial Shift, so that's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, it looks like both games the Sapphire Steel player, you know, wasn't able to find the Popsicle, but, you know, as you can see on game 1, like, having the 1-drop not being played, like having it miss, is just not a problem, right? Because you just gain so much traction once you're able to whole new world a couple times and have like a fishbone quill on board. So we are able to Tipo, inking an unknown card here. In this matchup, like I would probably just ink, anything that might not be that useful, like additional actions like develop your brain's vision of the future, right? Because a lot of times you just want to keep those cards if you are low in hand size and you just really need to find specific cards. Okay, so he does ramp on turn 2, so we're not going to see a Smee yet. So we ink another Azurite Sea, playing our one and only Robin Hood. And again, I really like Robin Hood in this deck because there's so many options for Robin Hood to get. And in this particular like Ruby Sapphire build, like even in general, like Ruby Sapphire decks have like over 20 actions. So there's just so many targets, right? Like for me, like I always hate whiffing with Robin Hood. So I feel like this deck could definitely, gain a lot of benefit, having a Robin Hood or two. Okay, so we have the Pirate's Life, Develop Your Brain, and oh, perfect, we gotta Let It Go. So we Let It Go, the Bell, inking him, not allowing him to, quest or ink additionally, so that way he can, hard cast the whole new world there. So Robin Hood definitely saved us and allow us to keep the board state going. And then we're also hard casting the How Far I'll Go. So I know a lot of times, like, with the Robin Hood, unfortunately, it does have to quest to use its ability. Whereas if, let's say, we had Grammatala and then we had a How Far I'll Go, I could just, sing the How Far I'll Go with Grammatala. But, there are going to be some crazy interactions where Robin Hood gets the How Far I'll Go from its ability, and then you have another How Far I'll Go in your hand that, you can hard cast, and that just inks you twice in one turn, right? Okay, so he plays a Beast Tragic Hero. Again, most likely setting up for that whole new world play. And that beast is going to be pretty hard to get rid of if we don't have an out for it right now. Just because all our characters are just so weak in strength. Okay, so we got a Visions, another Let It Go. So Robin Hood just came in clutch by removing 2 really good cards on the Sapphire Steel player side while allowing us to keep questing. So again, these are some of the high rolls that I like to have Robin Hood for. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But in this case here, Robin Hood is just doing its thing. Okay, so I do play a Maui Half Shark. Now I know what some of you guys are thinking, like, oh, maybe you should have played the Maui Half Shark prior to the Robin Hood. Just in case, of course, like if you get an action, then you gain another lore. But, my mentality at the time is like, I have other options in my hand. I want to see if Robin Hood can actually out that beast, and if not, I'm going to use something else to try to find like more outs to that beast, right? Which is why I held back on playing the Maui Half Shark until after. Okay, so we do see a Grab Your Swords, a steel kind of like quote-unquote miniature board wipe. We don't see too many of that anymore, but in this case here, like it worked out pretty well for the opponent, I would say. Just because he was able to get rid of not only Tebow, but the Robin Hood. Maui Half Shark's fine. I mean, we're going to probably heal it up with the Popsicle anyways, so I'm not too worried about that, personally. Seems like we are off to the races. Or maybe not. He got Zeused. So that's the one slow thing about the Ruby Sapphire decks is like, if you're not playing the Vitalisphere, sometimes having like a Maui Half Shark, trying to keep it alive is just like a challenge on its own. Okay, so you let the Storm Rage on. Now keep in mind that Let the Storm Rage on does not need to have a target because the draw portion is in a different sentence, therefore it's a different activation, right? So you still play the card, you don't have a target so you can't ping anything for 2 damage, but you still draw. So keep that in mind. Just in case, like, it's the same thing with Hypnotize, right? So Hypnotize is discard a card, draw a card. If your opponent doesn't have a card in their hand, you're still drawing a card by using Hypnotize. So it's the same concept. Okay, so we did find our draw engine here in the form of Tamatoa, getting us 2 Popsicles and allowing us to play more 2 Popsicles to draw us 2 cards, so that's good. I know a lot of times in this deck, like Tamatoa does seem kind of clunky because you gotta find your Popsicles first before you can really utilize it, but I mean that's why we play Develop in Visions, right? So we want to find the Popsicles first and then play the Tamatoa later. We are playing 3 Tamatoas happy as a clam, so again, like if we are finding this card like early in the game, like I'm totally fine just inking it. So at this point, we're probably off to the races right now. Because the opponent had to hard cast the Zeus, right, to take out the Maui Half Shark, meaning he just wasted his whole entire turn. Not really doing too much or like establishing his board, right? Okay, let's see here. Nice. Okay, so we are playing a whole new world, hard casting that. So we are discarding a whole bunch of good cards. We're discarding Maui, Hades, Gramatala, and McDuck Manor. But we do have plenty of ink, and now we also do get a new set of hands here in the form of 7 cards. So, and on top of that, he had to hard cast it. I think we're in a pretty good position, if I do say so myself. Playing another Beast Tragic Hero, so that means he had 10 ink in total this turn. But we do have plenty of cards and a full fresh set of cards, so, you know, Hades? Actually, I wouldn't even mind playing another Tamatoa as well, drawing us more cards. We'll see how it goes here. Okay, so we are playing Develop Your Brain. Okay, so I put that card in my hand relatively quick. Probably a card that I definitely needed to solve this board state. Okay, so we're playing Azurite Sea. So we're looking for something. Inking another Azurite Sea. And perfect, Hades. Okay, so we did find a Hades, probably from the Azurite Sea or the Develop. And then we are singing All Is Found. So All Is Found's a really interesting card. It allows you to ink Exerted 2 cards from your discard. And because it is an action as well, Robin Hood can utilize this card here because Robin Hood sends the rest of the cards to the discard. So eventually, you know, the more cards Robin Hood sends to the discard, and then you have All Is Found, you can just double ramp on that one turn. So I do run 1 copy of All Is Found, and so far it hasn't let me down. Okay, so the opponent plays the Popsicle and then playing the Bell. Oh, Visions. Okay, so you know, Sapphire Steel players generally don't play Visions, to my knowledge. So that's an interesting tech for that specific deck. Yeah, usually Ruby Sapphire is the one that plays Visions. Like Blurpo and Sapphire Steel generally doesn't play Visions. I'm assuming Visions in this deck probably to try to find Dime, or the Dime targets is what my guess is, or even like Whole New World. Okay, so do we see an Aerial? And we see another Pete. So again, we see like the Aerial Pete combo or the Bell Pete combo. And that just means that next turn we're probably going to see a Dime. So our opponent's a very seasoned Sapphire Steel player. He's been, you know, playing Sapphire Steel, you know, since the game started, I believe. So he knows this deck inside and out in every single matchup. So having like that Pete saved for the right time, he's very, very good at that. Okay, so we're discarding 2 Popsicles, probably because we have a Tamatoa again. Yeah, so we do play Tamatoa, getting us 2 Popsicles from our discard back to our hand. Questing for 2, playing a Popsicle from Tamatoa, drawing us a card again. Okay, Gramatala. Okay, playing the other Popsicle, drawing us another card. So we're just trying to make sure that we're establishing the board pretty wide here. Because again, aside from grab your sword, there's really not too much else that he can do. And we're not super scared right now either way, because even if he does have the dime, that aerial is only still going to quest for 3 because we have 3 popsicles and he does not. The aerial does require for you to have more items than an opponent to be able to quest for 5. And even if he did quest for 5 and have the dime, he's only going to be able to go up to 12 that turn anyways. And as of right now, we do have exactly lethal on board, so he does need to start challenging into some of our characters here. And preferably, you know, needing to take out both Hades and the Tamatoa that's exerted right now. Because keep in mind, we do also have Pirate's Life. And he plays an enchanted Tamatoa. Man, that is such a beautiful card. Love to see so many enchanteds being played here, like a Robin Hood, the Tamatoa, and in the Turnadog match that we had as well, my friend also had like the enchanted Tramp, so that was super cool to see. Okay, so he plays a Cogsworth. I think 1 turn too slow. Playing another Bell, so just going super wide again here. Questing, nope, challenging into the Hades. Questing for 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 potentially next turn. Bring him to 13 as well, so we are pretty safe. Because again, we have Pirate's Life. So right now we have 18 on board, 18 lore. So we just need 2 more lore here. Okay, so he's saying how far I'll go. So now we have potentially only 17 lore. I wonder why I sang that. Interesting. Questing for 4, taking us to 17. Oh, nice. Okay, so we got Goofy, Super Goof. So when it challenges in, we get 2 lore. And Pirate's Life? Oh, another Super Goof. Okay, perfect. So we did have game. So double Super Goof for the win. Nice. Well, that's it for that one, guys. Really hope you enjoyed this week's match. And hey, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Have an awesome day. Peace.